All right. Hello, everyone. Today we have Matthew Dryden, my colleague from Mojang, and we're going to discuss his map called Calamity. And first, we're going to play it a little bit, and then we're going to try to bootstrap our own simple map. Right, Matthew?
We're going to try. We're absolutely going to try to make that happen. I'm sure we can do it. We're strong,
we already
coders.
Played a little bit the map. I'm going to add your map to the screen. So first thing we're going to do, Matthew will show what is this map is all about. That's actually quite impressive.
Welcome to Calamity. This is a 2-lane attack-defend map where the objective is to get to the score limit. Score limit, this is a 50% recreation of the full-size map. The full-size map is over here. So this is a little mini thing. You'll spawn here, and you'll get these generators like scaffolding or cobblestone or chain. And the enemy also has generators on your team, on your side of the map, like haste. So if they capture this point, they'll get haste for their whole team for 45 seconds.
And then it respawns.
Exactly. It charges up for 20 seconds, and then it needs 20 seconds to cool down before the generator is ready to use again. So this adds renewable resources, truly renewable resources to vanilla survival. And then we take vanilla survival and make it super competitive by editing the recipes a little bit. So here's some custom recipes that happen in the map. That's wrong. Imagine taking 6 TNT and a chain to make a shield.
Yeah.
But you could use chain to make chainmail, which you can't do in vanilla. We have an anvil recipe that's a bit more simple, doesn't require the iron blocks. And bed requires TNT, because I don't know if you see it, we're in the nether. And in the nether, I don't know if you ever tried to sleep in the nether, but it's not good. You blow up. We have more custom recipes. Sticks can be made of scaffolding. That's why you get scaffolding.
What is the point of having bed then, if you're going to blow up anyway?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let me show you. I'll tell you exactly why. Let's grab a TNT and let's grab a bed. Come on. There we go. Let's go to this looks like a pretty good area to blow up some TNT. But for TNT, you have to place it, right? And then you have to place a button or a lever. And if you're moving really fast, let's try to do it live. Like imagine I'm running in. And I'm like, okay. Got to place the TNT. Got to place the button. Goodbye. And then it takes forever to blow up.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. That was pretty good. But a bed that takes 3 TNT is actually 3 times as powerful in the explosion blast. And look at this.
Whoa.
You can place it down, right-click it again immediately to blow it up.
But then you blow up yourself as well.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. But is there any strategic value? There probably was if there was a chest there. Oh, there's a chest here. You blow up your chests and then everything's on fire. We also blow up your items because this is a map about resource management. You have all these resource generators, but you're going to fall into the void a lot. You're going to get knocked off the map and you're going to see this view. But so you need new armor. You need new resources. You need someone who thinks about, okay, what happens after we die once and we run out here again and we have no armor, no swords, and the enemy is here. This is a 5v5 map. 5 players on each side play the game.
What if you blow up? Of course, you can create the new crates. I was going to ask if you blow up all the crates that the other team has and they create the new ones. Yeah.
You're in survival. You can do anything you can think of in survival, you can possibly do. Some things aren't allowed, for example. Like placing down a boat into the cross lane won't work. And I'll show you why. Boats have this cool property. Boats are like a mechanic in Minecraft, right? You get in them, and then they kind of slowly float down, right? So some intrepid players were building way up. They were like, okay, I'm going to go here, go all the way up as high as I can, which isn't very far. Okay, and now I'm going to get in a boat. I'm going to place it down, get in it, and I'm going to float to the other side. But in Calamity, as soon as it goes over the void lane, you die. So some things you can't do, but you can attempt a lot of things. You can do so much. It's anything you can think of in survival is what I like to say. Like, try to be clever about it. I think that's important.
Competitive survival.
Exactly. So the objective of this map, let's pull back a second. This is the menu. This is the main menu for this map. This map is like this, and you can control all the features with this book. But when I implemented it first, I used a command that's available to all players, no matter if you're an operator or not. This is called trigger. And when you use a trigger, you can add some options. So I can select a team, I can shuffle all the players, I can start a match, or I can toggle spectator. I would be able to toggle spectator if that one worked, but I can do it here. Yeah. Stuff is broken a little bit. We're in beta right now. So let's say I join the blue team. This is using a trigger command for everything. So that's trigger select team 1, trigger select team 2. And I built this menu book using this generator. So what is this generator? Let's just break it down quickly, bit by bit. This says map name. This is by author. This is a list item and then teams. So if we look at this, all right, yeah, we can see the map title. That's my author name. There's some social links. And then we see teams. So these are just translation strings. They're translation strings that go into language files that then get the text that we need. So I'll start a game. I get a nice little custom icon. That's something you can do with assets in Minecraft. It's with a resource pack.
Yeah, first thing we did here, you've sent me the resource pack so I could run it on my machine as well.
Exactly. So now this is how the game starts. Let's imagine 4 other players on this side and 5 players on that side, and then we run out and we trigger the first resource point. And we know that takes 20 seconds to charge up, so we're going to run to the second one. And then we're going to make that epic leap of faith, wait a couple seconds here, and trigger that third one. Now we have 3 generators that are all charging up. And once they reach 100%, I get the resource. Scaffolding here. I got 1 point for that. Cobblestone here. And I got 1 point for that. And then chain. And I got 1 point for that. That's pretty good.
Timing is important. This is why you waited a few seconds, so they're kind of in sync.
Exactly. So now it's charging down, so I know no one on the blue team can get any more cobblestone without running this generator or going down to the central iron mine where the only source of stone is on the map, physically speaking. So there's a lot of resource management in this game. I can now spend time crafting my items. So I'm just going to go into creative right quick. And you could do it the fancy old way like I just did it, or you can click into your recipe book to get the template out. I want to make some sticks. You noticed I can use scaffolding for sticks. Now with these sticks, I can make the stuff I need to make. And I also have these wooden tools. These wooden tools are pretty cool. If I dig something with them, now every time I die, I'm going to respawn with a shovel. Because that's the shovel is the respawn item I chose to use first. So now I get a shovel. I didn't like that. Next time I die, I'll select a new item. It's little features like this that you have to implement manually. It looks easy when you go look at it, but you have to think about, okay, I died. I came back to life. I need to trigger an event because I know a player came back to life. And I have to give them the correct item, and I have to maintain that correct item in memory. And how do you do that in Minecraft? That's funny enough. This little thing on the side stores all the variables. We'll talk about that later. When we get to the coding part, we'll talk about that. So in Calamity, the objective is to get to the point limit. It's essentially to cross the finish line over here on the right side. So right now, it's 397. What's cool about Calamity is that the finish line can change. It can lower. And it lowers based on how much iron is left in these central mines. So as we dig out this iron, you can see that, okay, it used to be 397. Now it's 373. If we go to the bottom iron mine, this is also a central iron mine. We start digging out this stuff. You can see that it's going down further and further. So every time I cap a resource point, every time I kill a player, and every time I craft items with iron ingots, I get points. So what is that last thing I said? Craft items with iron ingots. Well, we can toss down a crafting table. We can grab some iron ingots. And if I make, let's say, a chest plate, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 iron ingots. That means I get 8 points. I make pants, that's 7 iron ingots, 7 points. Pressure plate, that's 2 points. Minecart, 5 points. Let's say an anvil. Ooh, now I don't need iron blocks for an anvil.
Yeah.
Now I'm way ahead in the points, because before I was only getting 1 point for everything I was doing. But with these, I can store up some points and hide how much I have and have a surprise turnaround. What's cool about, I think the thing I love about Calamity the most is that as long as you're under the islands or above the islands, you can do anything you want. So we have something like this bridge here. This bridge, I can just start building across. I can extend it. And where am I going? Well, smart boy like me designed a map. Means if you bridge straight across, you can sneak into the enemy's base.
Whoa.
You have to have the ability to do it, which means then you get to the resource point. The resource point here is an enchant item. It's worth 13 points, this one. So if I capture this and I'm holding a shovel, I'm going to get an enchantment that's related to the shovel. And now it's no curse. It's just a curse of vanishing, which means it's going to disappear when I die. And now, no valid item found. Blue attempted to enchant an item and failed. That's a bug, but yes, I do see efficiency 3 here. Item already has this enchantment. No valid item found. That's a bug, and I'll show you why it's a bug.
So it shouldn't have disclosed your location or that you're on enemy base, right?
Yes, because it was valid, wasn't it? I had no enchantment. We knew that happened. So let's go into the output. Big scary file. Look at this thing on the side.
Can you please zoom it in a little bit? It's hard to read.
Yeah, I can totally zoom it in. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll just do a word wrap right quick. Okay. Let's forget about everything else and look at this. Okay, so this is the output. This is what happens at the end of the 20 seconds when everything is charged up. I've identified that a player is at the enchant point, so they have this, they're scoped for it. They're selected. And I'm like, okay, I need to check for a valid item. So please add a valid, check for a valid item tag to this player who already has the enchant tag. And then I do some voodoo math here for a second. That's like, please make sure they're holding a bow. And then ultimately, I say, enchant the bow of punch 2, which of course makes sense. Like, all right, if you're holding the valid item and we've checked for the item, you should probably get the enchantment for that item. Good job. But then on the very next line, I say, hey, if this player is holding a bow and if this player has the bow that is enchanted, tell them that the item's already enchanted. So I'm giving the player the enchantment, and then I'm saying, hey, if they have an enchantment, tell them they already have that enchantment. All of that to say is this line is in the wrong order. This line should be up here. So we check to see if the item is already enchanted. If it's not, we give them a valid enchantment, and then we say we're done here. And these are long and complicated lines. Don't worry about that. Just think about what the logic is, right? What I have here is a race condition error where I'm enchanting something before I already do the thing. But we can fix that later. I've already fixed that once. So I got 13 points for that. I'm on my way to 32 points. I don't feel like crafting any more things. I don't feel like being a good player. I want to get some TNT. Well, thankfully, in Calamity, we have a dedicated TNT, 3 per player, which means if there's 5 players here and we all activate it, we're going to each get 3 for a total of 15 TNT. Oh, what can we do with 15 TNT? We can do a lot. Let's look at this mine. This mine is called the nail because it goes in and down. So if I dig right in the middle of it, all the way to the bottom, yeah, and then I block all the way back up. Seems like I might have a good case for getting rid of some of these points really quickly. So let's watch that number at the top. 321, 171, 160.
Yeah.
Very dramatic, right? And suddenly you can win a game of Calamity by blowing stuff up, which to me is like, I wish I could win every game by blowing something up like that, at least in Minecraft.
So it's a good strategy if you're already leading to save some time. You just blow up things. Here you go.
But let's fake it a little bit, huh? Let's just win the game this time. So I'm going to run a command. That's this. And we're going to break apart what that is first. But let's bring up that scoreboard. Scoreboard is a data storage containers. Some of them you can display to the player, like the one on the sidebar here and the finish line. That is called display points. But let's set the display. So we're going scoreboard objectives, and I'm just pressing space, and then I type something and press tab to tab complete it. And if I don't like it, what I have, I can start using the up and down arrows to see what else is available. But I want to go sidebar, and I want to look at game variable. So that's scoreboard, subcommand objectives, another subcommand for set display. We're going to say yes, please, in the sidebar, and show this storage container.
All right.
So this is where we start getting into real fun dev stuff. This is the result of a lot of work. This is not a first-time map. This is something that you do after you start understanding a lot of things. So I have a session ID. My players get at s. I have a session ID as well. There we go. My session ID is 114. The thing up here is 114. So we know I'm in the correct session. If that mismatched, then I have a function to fix that.
Why would it mismatch?
That's a great question. I could just log off right now. The game is going. I know the game is going. We have a server saying the game is going.
Yep.
And then I can just rejoin. And then I get the resource pack. But what if the game ended there? And then another game started. And I log back in, and suddenly I'm here. I'm in like creative mode. I have all these items, and I'm disrupting another game. So if that session ID mismatches, I got to move the player to spectator, like what just happened. We didn't quite see it. We got the system message. But I have something built in that says session ID mismatch. We're going to process you as a new player. And then it takes me out of the match. And I don't have to worry about another match getting affected. We also have match timer that's ticking up at a rate of 20 times a second. That's the fastest clock we can have. Do you like? You've worked on games. You've worked on a bunch of games, right? So you know like clock speed in servers, tick rate is really important, especially for FPS games. Like 20 would not do it, right? I think Quake was like 60 even, 120 tick rate. So 20 is what you get to work with when you're creating stuff in Minecraft. You're going to check 20 times a second. It's called a game
There
tick.
are no hacks. You cannot somehow have, I don't know, 2 timers that are not in sync or like whatever, I don't know. One timer and it's very slow.
You can do it with some math. Like I have this match time in ticks here. But look at the top. I'm using modulus and other things to determine a game timer. And that all is driven for me, I believe, from math. I got these long commands, but let's not worry about that. So I'm taking the in seconds game variable. I'm dividing it by a 20 constant. And then the next tick, I'm saying also take the remainder of that and tell me when this equals 0. So if this thing equals 0, I would know that, okay, now it's time to update the clock.
Can we go back to the code? I would like to emphasize one thing. I didn't know this. I think a bunch of people might not know this as well, that scripting the maps is basically listing the commands that you would otherwise be able to enter into the console inside the game.
Exactly.
Kind of Emacs programming, like when you have all the
commands. You get it.
You write programs.
It's really cool that way. And also it's a pain in my butt, but it's real cool that way.
That is nice to debug. It's like when you program in JavaScript, you have the console, you have developer tools, and you can do kind of the same thing. You have the console here. There is some similarity. You can run all the scripts that you want manually, line by line, and then if they work. By the way, is it possible to debug? Like, do you have console logs or maybe debug points? Probably not.
Yes, we do. I'm going to show you that when we start live coding.
Oh,
yeah. We don't got a lot, okay? We don't have like a break. There's no concept of a break. You're like, think of it like a looping train 20 times a second. If you run a command that says hello, you're going to run that 20 times a second. So you're going to know right away if something's going wrong or crazy. I think a good example is I wanted a creeper, if it got too close to a player, to like teleport 1 block away.
Yep.
But I somehow had messed it up. So if a creeper came near me, it just started teleporting and I watched it go off into the horizon. Just like, bye. All right. You exist in my world somewhere. I don't know where you are, but you're gone forever.
So that's another important thing, that you have an implicit game loop. So whatever you enter is being executed step by step sequentially. And then after it reaches the end of your script, it starts over again.
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm.
And I can control what gets run at what time. That's how magic gets to happen in this game. Let's cheat a little bit. Let's talk about what's going on right now. So I have all of these folders here under functions. Let's ignore everything else here. We don't need to worry about just this little section right here, functions. At the very base, I have tick. Tick is for me. But
can you highlight it? I'm a bit lost. Tick is okay. Yeah,
tick is the name of the file. So if I were to do function calamity tick, I know it's going to run everything in this file. And if I just briefly go into this function, this is the Minecraft tick. It says Minecraft tags function tick, and this is like if you were using a framework, this would be how you make your thing tick every 20 seconds. So I'm like, so please, go ahead.
Here in this JSON file, you expose the command. And then inside of the file, you describe what happens when you execute it.
Yeah, let's control click because we have a special helper here. Oh, hey, and you're here. Good. So top to bottom, I'm running function calamity details. So I have a little comment here that says, hey, this has nothing to do with this function here. Good. This is doing crazy things. This is saying, hey, take a table candle and table candle smoke. And if we just read it at a high level, how embarrassing, calamity troll. All right, some stuff is happening in here. It's not what we want right now.
And details is the what is happening on the main screen, or what is it doing?
Details, I'll tell you what details is doing. Let me show you what details is doing. The first chunk of details is doing this. What is that? So let's highlight this. Oh. Making that candle smoke go.
Whoa, that's actually cool. But it's not live reload. You've manually entered the command really quickly right now, right?
Yes, I just did live reload right there. So I kind of like the torch look. I like the way it felt. So what I did is I started looking at how often is that particle playing. And yeah, it's like playing between like, what did I land it on? Let's look at it again. The table candle says, let's word wrap this so we know what we're looking at. Execute if the score table candle in the game variable matches 0, run the particle.
What does it mean matches 0?
Execute if, let's look at the sidebar, ready blue matches 0. If score ready blue matches 0. What? Oh, game variable matches 0. There we go. So I'm saying execute this command that if I were to send a command, execute it. If that score, ready blue in the game variable sidebar, if it matches 0, pass the test and say the commands.
So you're checking if the candle is not there yet, then you do the thing.
I'm actually checking to see if the score of the candle matches 0.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is nothing to do with this at all. If I were to remove this and reload,
the flame will just appear in the air, right?
It should just appear in the air. If I type the command right. I didn't type the command right, apparently. So just make sure that it actually shows. Come on. There it is. Now it appears in the air.
This is so cool.
So it's like this. I'm just adding a value to a data, to essentially a variable. And then this is the cool part. If the score table candle game variable matches 5 or more, scoreboard players set table candle game variable to 0. So this is a loop. This is just a 3-command loop that is only affecting one invisible. That's what the hashtag for is here. It's an invisible variable. It doesn't show up on the sidebar because all of these are important variables that I need to sometimes debug with.
What is the limit? How many variables like this can you have?
You can have, I think, nearly unlimited scoreboards and nearly unlimited variables showing up on the sidebar.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah, scoreboard objectives list. Here are all of the different scoreboards that I have for this map.
All right, it's a game loop and tons and tons and tons of variables. That's what it is.
Some of them are named, some of them are not. Just variables happening.
It's a bit mind-bending. I'm kind of starting to get a grasp of what is going on, but like still very unusual.
Crazy. We're gonna do some fun stuff, and you're gonna get it right quick.
Yeah.
So the smoke doesn't need to run as fast as the candle does, right? So I do the same thing again here, but I say matches 45 instead of matches 5. So now I get this, somewhat.
Matthew, sorry to interrupt, but there is a good question.
Yeah.
Avi asked to give a quick overview of what are we going to do here. What is scripting a Minecraft map?
Scripting a Minecraft map is creating the game on top of a game in Minecraft. Because right now I'm a player. I have full autonomy over what I do in this map. But if I wanted to say, okay, every time I land on a piece of glass, teleport me back to the starting position. So that command would be like TP. Let's just figure out what a starting position is, right? Let's go over here. We'll get that coordinate. When I'm looking at this block, and I type / let's say set block or any command that accepts a coordinate value, I'll get that value highlighted for me. And if I press F3 and game rule reduce false, we're going to see that I'm looking at this map at this block on the right-hand side. Well, you can see like XYZ here. That's pretty much where that is. Now we have that. Whenever I step on a blue glass, see execute if execute as myself, okay? So we're not just executing this command anywhere in the world. We're going to execute it from me, the player. If block to my relative location -1, so tilde is my location, the middle one is my Y location, and Z. So if the block below me,
one below you,
exactly, is a blue stained glass, just run it. The test passed. And if I run it again, test didn't pass. You see that? Test passes.
So we have conditions. You can check conditions, for example, if there is a glass block beneath you.
If that is it, then TP myself, again, TP is teleport to those coordinates. So now we have a game. That's what we're doing. We're making mini games, essentially. If you wanted to think of like the Fall Guys don't fall off the platform, you could detect if someone fell in water. And then suddenly you have a game.
So in other words, you're adding new rules and behaviors to Minecraft in order to create a different, unique game experience for players. Yes. You got the point.
Exactly like that. And the map that I'm showing off is a complex 5v5 survival. It's like if you're playing vanilla your first time and it's your first night ever. That's what this map is. It's complex, a little nebulous, very old, about an 8-year-old project that I'm updating. I'm remastering it for 2021. The first version of it came out in 2013. So it's a labor of love. It's something I really like. And if I want it to be fancy, I can run a set of commands. This is what the hashtag means. A set of functions, excuse me. So I could determine a set of functions here. So I know that I'm going to be running Calamity load, set up scoreboard, set up teams, set up the tags, set the game rules, set the arena rules, load the blocks, and then set up the boss bar being this bar at the top. So I know if I run this command, it's going to run every one of those functions, which then run a bunch of other functions. Just line after lines of commands. And I mean, I didn't build this all at once. Like I built it feature by feature by feature. It's an expansive, I guess, code base. I hesitate to call it a code base, but it is a bit.
It is a code base, and it's intimidating, I must say.
It is. We're not going to look at this too much longer. I think that's about what this map is. Let's do the fun stuff.
Matthew, there is another good question. This is Java version, which is true. Will any of those work on Windows Bedrock Edition?
Yes, but it's a little different on Bedrock because in the same way that you wouldn't call C and C++ the same language at all, right? Like so opposite and different. This is a bad example for programming languages. I'm sure you can come up with two similar ones. Minecraft Bedrock does things, it has different implementation. Java Edition is in Java, Bedrock Edition is in C++. And they've implemented these map maker features in a different way. So if I wanted to, let's say, open a door in Bedrock Edition, I could summon an entity. I could create a custom behavior for that entity that says, if you right-click me with seeds, I will be fed. Right? So a chicken. We're making a chicken, right? We're making a fake chicken. And then we make that chicken look like a door. And then we make the item look like a key. And then you right-click the door of the key, and then the door does whatever the door does. Disappears, teleports, dies, whatever. I don't care. But in Bedrock Edition, you do that through behaviors. In Java Edition, there's no such thing as creating custom behaviors in JSON files. There's no such thing as creating a custom entity. You have a creeper, you have a horse, you have pigs, you have... If you were to create a custom entity, you would be hacking it in such a hacky way that you're creating every single element separately that it might as well just make a game at that point.
So if I understood it correctly, then whatever you can do in Java Edition, you can kind of transpile to some analog in Bedrock, but not the other way around. The other way around is much harder.
You can't go both ways. You could take the world. Let's say like Calamity, if I wanted to take it to Bedrock, I could take the blocks. But I would have to rebuild how the thing thinks because they don't have nested functions like Java Edition does. They have different features. They have interesting features that if you're going to make something for Minecraft, I think you should love the game to start with, or love the options the games have. It's like you drop in a world, you understand the rules right away. You need to break a block, you need to craft items, you need to survive. You know how you jump like this, you know how you move like this. All of these things, I think, work beautifully with Minecraft. And if you're like, okay, well, what if like you wanted to go swimming in Minecraft and you wanted to race a dolphin or like race each other with dolphins. And now you have to create a starting line, you have to create a finish line. Those are the rules you're adding to a world that ostensibly is just your world. Like if you wanted to take your single player world, add a couple command blocks and a couple games to it, that's yours now. That's like something you've done to extend your world. And I think that's kind of the beautiful thing. A player can just think about like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if bushes dropped like sticks? And those sticks are like the game. You have to go around beating up dead bushes to find enough sticks to make a campfire. Yeah. That's the game now. That's just, it's like if you were a kid and you were outside in your neighborhood and you found a can and you're like, we're going to play a game now called Kick the Can. And everyone's like, okay, where should we put the can? That's what making games for Minecraft feels like. Is, well, we have this cool interaction. We have this cool thing that's like, oh, when you have a elytra on, you fly. Let's figure out how to like fly through a bunch of rings. A player, and especially in Minecraft, it's like the best level editor if you want to think of it like a game engine. You're live in the world. Let's open it again. Let's close my workspace. I'm gonna add a new file to a new workspace here. Now I've prepped this for you earlier. So I'm gonna add a folder to my workspace. I'm gonna go to my Minecraft profiles and latest releases. We're gonna add the Ivanov Hideout data pack. It's a data pack template. And if it comes to it, I'll give you a link for it. It's not gonna be a problem. We can get this downloaded. So
yeah,
now,
I think it's good if we leave a link for the viewers as well so they can try to implement the same thing.
I think it would be best to check the Twitter. I don't have any hosted anywhere, but we'll get it. We'll find a way. So this is the new world we're going to load into. Now, before we even open the world, let's talk about your launcher. This is the Minecraft launcher. I have custom installations. This is my Calamity profile. It gives me like a dev environment is what this is. I have an entire save installation just to make this one project. So I don't have to worry if I change my controls or if I change my resource pack or any other settings with Minecraft. I have a preserved working environment. So that's super good for me. The other thing I do is I keep the launcher open and I open an output log. And this output log looks like this. And it does stuff. We're going to pay attention to this. So I made a quick world here too, so we can figure out what we're doing. So, yeah, cool world. Set the time today. I don't really like that day. Let's set it to noon instead. And it's raining. How do I know it's raining? It's because the sky's gray. Sun comes out.
This is so cool. Like you're really controlling the world. That's so cool.
And I'm in this world. I can't actually control anything about the player data. So what is the player data? Let's get myself. Let's say data get entity myself, and I just want everything. So I'm going to put just 2 brackets. Wow. Okay. I have a lot of stuff. Let's look at our console log.
It's very small. Can you zoom
it? It is
in?
very small, but I can copy it. Now we can go in here and say, let's make this an MC function. And let's say data merge entity. Yes. Now we can read this. Now, this is all of the data the player is currently holding. We know that, for example, they're in the overworld. We know that they're standing on the ground. We know that they have not fallen any distance. We can understand that they have a recipe book. We don't really know what it does. We don't really know what all these things are, but they're data that we can access. And I find that beautiful. Especially, look at this one. Is GUI open? That's interesting.
Why would you need it? Why would you care?
Yeah, let's find out. Let's see if we can look for it. So I haven't done this before, but I'm going to open this GUI. And then I don't even have a way to do this reasonably, do I? All right. What to do? Start a server. Just open a PowerShell here. Start a server.
Okay.
It's going to work, right? Excellent. So now I have a local server. And I have a separate way of entering commands. Look at it. It's doing server things. I know it's very small, but it's there. Can I? Oh wow! PowerShell 7. What a hero! I've never seen that work before. PowerShell 7 is amazing. All right. Okay. I made a new world. Where's the world that I was just in? Good question. Let's go find out. So the name of this world is Ivanov Hideout. So let's edit the server properties. Instead of looking for world, we're going to look for level. Where is level? Level name, Striding Hero 104.
Why is it level and not world? Is it part of the
legacy code? I think. I had to guess it would be legacy code. And then we'll run this again. You know, it's doing stuff. Oh my God, look at the cow thing. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, it's prepared, it's done, and we're back in Ivanov's world, right?
Yeah.
And we have a resource pack for some reason. Not sure why.
I think it's fine.
We're not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
So, is the GUI open? Let's do data get mosh, data get entity mosh, everything.
Yeah, now this command is on the server, so you cannot say self because there is no such thing as self on the server.
Exactly. You got it. So now, is the GUI open? We're looking at recipes. Is GUI open? 0B. Okay, but we actually care about, can we see that? We can see that the furnace is open. So is the furnace GUI open? Maybe it's, I crashed the server.
Okay.
Why did that happen? I've never seen a server crash because I ran a command like that before.
Well, you're QA. So
Good
that's
question. We're going to find that out real soon, huh?
Yeah, so that's actually good that you encountered it.
Yeah, that's for tomorrow, Matthew. Today, Matthew's curious about other things. The data. Ooh. Okay. It's a little messy, isn't it? It's a little hard to see what's going on. I get it.
Yeah. It's
is the furnace GUI open? Do we have to see it? Is smelting open? Is furnace GUI open? It's not open. So we can't access this. We don't know what this thing is doing anymore. And I think that's important because we can read a lot of this other stuff and figure out what's going on. Is the player invulnerable? No, they're not invulnerable. Did they just recently go through a nether portal? That's what portal cooldown means. So that's so they don't go back through the nether when they come out of a portal.
Matthew, there is a good theory why the server did crash. You might have sent an interrupt command using Control-C. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Seeing credits. I think this is a good example. Did the player see the credits or not? Did they beat the dragon and go through the end portal? Or they didn't have to beat the dragon. They can just go through the end portal to see the credits. Food saturation level is 20. Health is 20 float. That's important. On ground 1 isn't something that I think we're going to use. This is what's important here for us today.
On ground, that means you're not jumping, not flying, not swimming.
Exactly. So if I were to do execute, you're not on. Not worried about that anymore. We'll go back to single player. Sometimes it's useful to have a multiplayer server for these things, especially if you want to test multiple stuff, but it's not necessary. You can do almost everything in single player without even logging out of your world. So we get execute if entity at S, and then we're going to do a scoping selector. And then inside these square brackets, I can get advancements, distance, DXY, Z, game mode, and NBT. So NBT is the one we want, right?
What is it? What is NBT?
NBT is, I don't know the actual things. I just know that that's the data format that Minecraft uses for entities and generally blocks in Java Edition. NBT as a concept doesn't exist in Bedrock Edition. There are other qualities that they have that you can track, but not this here. So NBT is Java Edition's data formats for entities and blocks and stuff. Get out of here. And then, so if we go back here and we say NBT and we remember that it was on ground 1B. On ground 1B. Good. Now if I fly in the air, it's failed.
Just failed, yeah.
So I kind of like this idea, and this is what I want to do with you today. I'm thinking, I understand you can't really get Minecraft open, right? That's the problem.
Well, I can, but it's going to be very slow. We've tried it before the stream.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
No.
So, oh God, all right. It's becoming nighttime again. I don't really like that. In my game for Minecraft, I want it to never change the time. So for this world, I'm going to set up a game rule.
Let me guess. You're just going to reset it to daytime every tick, right? Or
well,
not?
that would be good, I guess, but it's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah.
To run a command every tick. So I'm going to do a game rule. And if we noticed, that moon stopped moving. So watch my cursor now. Moon starts moving again. So we have a game rule that affects the whole world. We have a lot of game rules that affect the whole world. Troll spawning, tile drops, trader spawning. There's a weather cycle. There's drowning damage, fire damage, keep inventory.
And that's so cool. You can explore them right in the game. That's really awesome.
Spawn radius is cool. Spectators generate trunks. So the flow for making something is you essentially prototype it live with the commands, and then we're going to implement it into our code. So I like game rule do daylight cycle false, right? So let's copy this command. Go back to our data pack. Our data pack has some cool features to it. This is the template data pack. So at the very core of it, go away. The very core of it, what does this say? Minecraft, that's what we want.
I already have a question.
Yeah.
Where do you put things that should happen on every tick, and where do you put things that, for example, change the game rules and should happen once in the game?
Yeah, we're going to check that out right now. Let's put you over here. Yes, I do want to do that. So Minecraft has this is a file structure that's happening inside the save folder. So in the Ivanov hideout, this is, I can't really zoom in on this. Magnify. There we go. Ooh, all right. This is the thing, and then we have data packs in here. And you can have multiple data packs. You could have one for loading the level. You could have one for the entire game rules. You can have an entire separate one that says, hey, give me some build tools. They're additive. They're like resource packs. You just stack them up one by one by one by one. Inside this, we have a pack format MC meta file, and then we have namespaces in the data folder. So in this one, I set up a dev folder, an Ivanov folder, and a Minecraft folder. Minecraft comes default. So the game is always going to be looking for this. If this exists, and then we add some tags, and we're like, hey, we want to tag some functions. That's what that folder structure is going to do. And then there's two special files, load and JSON. All right, how do I get out of magnifier? Oh, get out of here. Okay. So that's what these two files are. So on tick, I want to say tick everything that is in the Ivanov tick tag. So in my own namespace, in the Ivanov namespace, I have another tag folder that follows the same structure that says run these things. Do I need it? No. But I like to have things in my own namespace because I'm picky like this. You know, I'd like to.
It makes sense.
Just stuff. And then we have load. We want to load, don't we? We have a load function. So now every time we close and reopen this map, let's just put a little command up here. It says, hi, how are you? This is the function that's going to run. And if we close and reload this map, it should say right away, hi, how are you? Didn't.
Where? No.
Well, yeah, it didn't, did it? So let's verify that the thing exists. The thing does exist.
And it worked now.
And if we do Minecraft load, it does exist. So maybe we just missed it because when you load the world, wait, we can check it. We check it. We have a call stack, don't we? There it is.
All right.
So when we loaded the level, it says, hi, how are you? Even
maybe
before.
we could add some pause there.
Yeah, let's pause for a second. Yeah. It didn't pause there. What I'm saying is the command ran before the player could see the chat screen, which shouldn't happen, but that's why you don't do things like this where...
Yeah, and I meant we could use some timer to make it happen after 2 seconds after the game loaded.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Let's try that. Let's do a schedule. Now we can schedule a function. That would be cool. Now let's put it in the Ivanov state namespace, and let's call it say hello. And let's run it in 4 seconds.
And everything is synchronous. So until the 4 seconds will pass, we will be locked on that line of code, right?
No, this is a schedule. It just says, please do this in 4 seconds. And then we can move on. I don't really use this. I like a really stringent type of thing, but it would be useful, wouldn't it? If for a bunch of locations. So we don't have a function named Ivanov say hello, right?
Yeah, how do we find it?
With this data pack helper plus add-on, we can just hit control and period, and we can auto fix the problem. Now, we have a say hello function that just generated. And let's say we just do it again, just so you can see it. Say hello to. That function gets created in the right folder, in the right location. And then the call happens. Now we can say 4 seconds passed, right? Then we'll save everything, take away the save hello. Let's bring up our data screen here just to make sure that we're tracking things nicely. We'll do a reload. And now when we reload, it's going to run the load again automatically. We don't have to exit the world and come back in. So we're essentially starting stuff over from the beginning. So we reload, 2, 3, 4.
Done.
Yay. So that's what's up. So I want to make a parkour map. I think parkour maps are probably the easiest kind of map to do. So for parkour in general, let's say we want a, let's finish what we were doing first, right? I want to make a parkour map, but we want to load some things. And we have a load function. So what is this load function doing? It first removes a scoreboard objective that is constant. And then it re-adds it, and it says, what is this scoreboard objective type? It's a dummy, which means just storage holder, no problem. And then I use fake players. So what is the scoreboard? What's going on? Scoreboard objective set display sidebar constant. Wow. So every one of these things that I defined now exist and can be accessed. So if I do scoreboard players get 100 const, I'm going to say it's 100. I get 20 const.
They don't have to be numbers. They can be normal names.
No, they have to be numbers, and that's the tricky part of it. You cannot define a text string as a variable. A text string will only be an output or the name of an existing entity.
Okay.
So you have limitations here in strange ways.
Yeah.
And then we add a bunch of other resource things. So affected items, you know what? We don't need this. I think I like health. Health is good to have, right?
Yep.
And then food. Food is going to be something important later. We have an objective logged off, but we don't care about that right now. And then time since death. All 4 of these scoreboard, 8 of these all of these scoreboard objectives and these ones down here are special types. We're going to use them, not these ones, but these ones here, they get tracked automatically. So if I were to put up the health scoreboard, I'm not actually registered on the scoreboard right now. And that's because I've been in creative mode. My health hasn't changed. So let's put me on the scoreboard, right? Scoreboard player set, mosh, health, 0, 20. It's only read only. Uh-oh. Okay, so what do we have to do? We have to change the player's health somehow. We can do that by making them fall a distance, right? And then it starts tracking. But like, what if we reload again? Suddenly we're no longer registered on that sidebar because we removed the objective and then we re-added it. So when we register the players, we have to find ways to affect their health. How do we do that? Stop me if I'm going too fast for you.
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to grasp what you did. You removed the default behavior from the health, for example, here, re-edited it. Now you want to add in your own ways to control the health. So I don't know what conditions you have in mind.
I'm saying the health scoreboard is a read-only scoreboard. So if I were to try to set something to it, I couldn't do it. This should be showing up on the sidebar right now, by the way. But if I fly up a little bit, and my health is going to go from 20 to what, 17? 15.
Okay.
Now, because my health has changed, I'm suddenly registered on the scoreboard, which makes no sense, right? If you add a read-only scoreboard, it should be like properly set up. But this is how Minecraft works. This is the kind of stuff yeah. So that's where we start doing something like register. I think register is a great thing. So data get, what I'm saying here is if a player does not have the tag of registered, do some stuff to them, right? Give them a tell raw, clear the effects, give them new effects, give them hunger, give them instant health, give them saturation. Let's change that to absorption. Yeah, and then I can re-register them. So why are tags cool? Tags are another storage type, but they can be stored on players or entities, and that is, now we can do some real things.
Like Unity, the entity framework system.
Bit like that, isn't it? So we know I have this tag, and even if I reload the map, right, I still have this tag. I leave the game and come back. That's stored in my player file. And a great question, what's a player file? A player file is actually in the save folder. So if we go in here and we can see the player data, I'm this player with this UUID. All of my data is stored in this file. So if I do tag add-s remove registered, then it's going to re-register me right away because we know this is running every tick.
Yeah.
And we can find this by saying tick. Let's reload it. And we'll just observe.
Tick, 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 tick. Yeah, exactly.
Doing the thing. So we're totally confident that this is running every tick. So now, if I am registered on the scoreboard, let's go find the command that we needed. Let's do something crazy. Let's make life better for ourselves and put this command at the bottom of the load function. So every time we reload, it puts it up on the scoreboard right away. So I reloaded, my health no longer shows up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's because my data tag registered wasn't removed when I reloaded the map. If I do it manually, now I'm registered on the map with a score of 64 and then back down to 20 because 2 points for every heart we have. 20 is the max for 10 hearts. Mm-hmm. With me so far?
Yep.
So the final step for this, right, is we want to re-register all the players when reloading the map. Simple as that. We've added a single command at the end of a bunch of other commands we're running, and we know that we've removed and re-added the health scoreboard before we ran this command. So it's all serialized. It's all great. Beautiful stuff. And now if I reload, I will, can I save?
What makes it to be applied to all the players, not just one?
You see that? At S, yep. At all.
Uh-huh.
At A is at all. So if we do tag, at A is all players, at E is entities. So any entity, not player specific. A is player specific, entity is any entity in the world. P is
whatever.
Exactly. P is the closest player to the location that the command is being run. Random is any random entity or player. You could actually scope that the way that you'd like. Any random entity. Generally players, though. And then at S is at S, and then there's names for yourself. So because this was at S, the server was running it. Not all players were running it. So we're going to say server, tell all players to remove their tag registered.
Okay.
And now we've been registered. Because that's the message I chose to send. So now we have health. We have food as well. And I think that's cool. Food is not being shown as an objective. Food is another one of those things. So if I effect give at S hunger, come on, give me like a hunger to 10. 20? About 30. Doesn't like that, huh? It's not showing my food because it can't do anything about my food right now. See that? It's really odd how that's happening right now. Let's comment these out, reload. There we go. I finally get on the food scoreboard.
All right. Why is it not showing the numbers yet?
It's the same thing that we just went through.
Okay. I see. Yeah. It's actually the numbers. Yeah, I got confused for a second.
Yeah, it's totally the same thing. This is 20 as well. So we have to do these super fancy things. Like, let's change this up to 3. If I give myself hunger for 100 seconds, that should let me give myself some hunger for 30 seconds. Reload. And now I get a little bit of hunger here. And it's going to persist. It's actually giving me a lot of hunger. And now I start losing my health because my saturation went down. So that's too much. So now we have, I think that was a little too much. Let's just add it for like a 10 hunger for 3 seconds. They're going to get hungry by themselves. We don't have to worry about that.
Can you use fractions? I see that you use full numbers, but can you use fractions?
You can use moduluses, and I think that's about it.
Okay.
Everything in a scoreboard is, well, I guess there are floating numbers, but they're not really in a scoreboard. You'd have to like track them separately. The full number and then the modulus of whatever you do. Fractions are, it's just not going to work. Now, what have we done? Well, we know that we can track the health of a player. We know that, and the hunger of a player. So we're going to start doing some things in this file that says, all right, all players who have a score of 19 or less give them 1 second of saturation. Saturation means food saturation. We're going to feed them for 1 second and 0. And the very instant that it hits 20 again, clear that effect. So we have a very weird and interesting interaction where, like, every single tick, it's going to give them a second of saturation. And then as soon as it's refilled, it's going to remove itself.
Because effects would stack otherwise, right?
Exactly. So we have a very clear delineation of when something is scoped, right? And then we have this other thing at the bottom of this file that I've set up, which is time since death. So let's look at that scoreboard. I bet you can figure out what that is, right? This is another automatic scoreboard. So
interesting that it's called time since death, not time since respawn.
Makes sense, right? That would make too much sense.
Yeah.
So we know we can control this. So that means, sensibly, right? If the score equals 0, that is the same tick that the player respawned. So we can give effects, give something, right? We can say, let's just run a function that says, haha, you died. All right, let's just get rid of the function command and run the commands. Say, haha, you died. Reload, kill. And every second it's 0. It's going to run, right?
Yeah.
So we can't have that.
And we could also use it to add some tags, and later in some other function, we could track it and do something useful with the player that, for example, respawned less than 20 seconds ago.
Exactly. You're starting to get it. For this one, it's going to be real easy. If the score equals time since death, and then the other scoreboard, health, that we've tracked equals 20, that's when we run it. So we know for an instant, we kill. Yeah, I'm dead, but I'm not getting the message. But when I come back to life, maybe I should get that message. Should probably get that message, right? Let's try 1. Let's say anything less than 1 to 1. I'm going to see how that works. We'll reload, and we've been registered. We'll kill ourselves. Great. There it is. But 1 second after I died, it'll run that command, or 1 tick, excuse me, after I died. So then there's this weird interaction then, isn't there? Where there's an instant that a player could respawn, but the Minecraft clock is slightly different than what the game tick that we have access to is. So they missed the tick where the train had already left for tick 0, and tick 1 was already happened when they respawned.
Yeah.
So the scripting in Minecraft is constantly dealing with race conditions and figuring out. Yeah. Sorry.
And they suck. It's one of the not hardest but most annoying problems in programming when you have them.
It is awful. It was worse than Redstone, to be honest, because you're trying to fight a race condition with essentially electric circuitry, which is what Redstone is. So why are we showing all of this? I think it's just a quick aside. This is a command block. We do the say hi in here. We power it. It says hi, right? Pretty clear. Back in the day, almost everything I showed you today so far could be accomplished with comparators, redstone torches, and logic.
So you would have something running in the background, hidden beneath the surface.
Exactly. Let's say I would have it like under here somewhere. And we build basic logic. So this is the most basic one, I think. It's an AND gate. So we know these 2 torches are always powered. But in Minecraft, the way the interactions happen is lever is what I needed, didn't I? We flip A, that torch goes off, right? But B is still on. So B goes off. And then finally, we can place one on this side. Or hell, even this side. See, we can't do it at this side because physically it would power these lines when they're not supposed to be powered. And then it also turns the redstone, so it's not going in the block. The only way this works is when this line goes in the block. So we have to do it on this side. And then we can, if these both equal true, say hi, right? Because this dust will power this block, which will power this command block. When we say hi, we know it's going to work, right? Every time both of these ostensibly conditions equals true, then say hi, right?
So it's AND block.
Exactly.
How do you make a NOT block? Because with NOT and AND, then you can do whatever when you have an AND.
Everything has to do with these torches.
How do you reverse?
How do you reverse the torch? You power the torch. You power the block the torch is attached to. So I take this away. All these torches go on. So you asked a really astute question, which is execute if entity mosh. So this is a test, right? If the entity mosh works, pass the test. So it should work, right? I exist, I'm pretty sure. So let's power the block. I do exist, thank God. What about mush 322? Doesn't exist.
Nope.
This is a comparator. It handles that. So, unless execute unless I exist. Say hi, right? But now we have this line going out here. So let's do that a little bit, huh? Let's charge it up to 15 full power. That's how redstone works. If you power it out of a repeater, all of these things will run. And then suddenly you can run command after command after command. Say 1, say 2, 5, say 34, say 1, say 7.
This is really fun way to learn programming. So if kids these days would actually be taught in schools with Minecraft, that would be awesome. We would have way more programmers, I believe.
See that?
Because those text editors, I've been taught with Pascal, and it's kind of like basic, but in a more brutally looking IDE. A lot of people were just intimidated. You just see text on black background, and you just don't understand anything, and you just don't have any fun.
Exactly. So I have a problem here now, don't I? Beta get block this everything. The success count of this block equals 1. Why? Because I powered it once and this command was successful. So now, no matter what I do, this is going to equal 1. Even if I unpower it, it'll do it. Unless I open it and close it again. Because I don't know, just how stuff works. But also look at these, 1, 34, 7, and 1.
Yeah.
If I were an intrepid person, it should say 1. Doesn't say anything here. That's also bugged. 34, 1, and then 7. So because of the way I built this, right, it should do the whole thing in order. It's not. It's doing 1, 34, and then 7 and 1 instead of 1 and then 7. Which means it's not serialized. The redstone wire doesn't care about how it got powered. It just knows it needs to be powered, and then it starts propagating.
Again,
exactly. And then as it propagates out to the block below it, and that block propagates to this because of power to power to power, we're transferring. None of these are correct. So this had to go. This wasn't great. So what else can we do? Let's do it like this. Seems cool. We'll get a chain command block. is a type of command block that you have. And now we know if we run over these, we say 1, say 2, say 4, say 7.
And we power it up.
We power it up. This is the first one, right? Interesting, because this repeater is going directly into this block, into this command block. But if you put the dust on top and then do it again, it powers once. Wait, let's just split it up so we know what happens. Powers once through the repeater, which means it powers the command block, powers the dust, which powers it again, and then it powers all over the line. And then it goes 1, 2, 4, 7 correctly. So how you build it is really important to how things laid out. And the whole reason I took the aside to go over this, it's not necessary to modern stuff. But this is why things are the way they are now. Because we've progressed from doing Redstone to doing serialized command blocks that run, see this arrow, in order. And then we can even make that conditional, which means, all right, if this command was successful, run this command. If this command was successful, run this command.
Can you show the menu, please? I saw that there is a button, condition.
Condition, unconditional. And then you can always do always active or needs redstone. So let's do always active. If we change these to always be powered, we don't need to give it. They do need to touch because the arrow is indicating the direction of what this is running. And why would you do that? Great question. If I wanted to do that, if I wanted to start doing this, if I wanted to do this, actually.
That's interesting. Imagine in a text editor, you would only see one line of code every time. You would need to go to a specific line to see what it did.
Exactly. And we did this in 2013 to like 2015 or 16. I think 15 would be correct. When text files started coming in and functions. And then those functions started getting nested functions. And suddenly we're able to do the powerful stuff that we were able to do now that we couldn't do before. So I want to make a game. Let's think of the game, the rule sets for the game. We have like our world here, right? We can just go away. We'll just go somewhere else.
Yeah, and it's parkour, as you said. We're gonna
time set new. We're gonna do game rule, do daylight cycle false. So now I've been running these commands forever. Let's put them in the map. And now anytime that I want to delete this map or take this data pack to a new map, it's going to set up everything for me. And that's the power of data packs. They're not world reliant. You can bring them to any world. Because the use case for data packs are not just game rule.
So theoretically, if you wouldn't need some special blocks, then you could run Calamity type of game on virtually any map.
Exactly. In fact, I'm working on multiple arena support for Calamity. That is where the arenas are stored in structure files. And then I tell the world where to place the structure file and then power it, which generates the other blocks. So I'm done with loading new worlds. I'm just going to take the one world and put all my new blocks in it from now on. We want to play with two things. We want to play with when a player jumps and when a player lands. So parkour maps.
We're going to edit some physics, or what do you mean?
No, we're only going to track when a player jumps and when a player lands.
That's it. Okay.
So on ground, 1B is what we know, is when the player is on the ground. So we can track jumping like that. If it is 0, then we know the player is not on the ground. That's one way to do it, right? We can also do a jump scoreboard. And every time a player jumps, the number will go up. So let's do that right quick. Scoreboard. Objectives. We have a lot here, a lot of subcommands. We can add, we can list, we can modify, we can remove or set display. Let's add. We're going to name it jump, and then we're going to call it Minecraft stats. My God, there's so much. Look at how much is broken down here. You know what broken means?
No idea. What is broken?
It means you broke a block. So what am I looking for here? Let's go into statistics. That's why default scoreboards exist, to take advantage of every one of these stats. Which means if you're thinking of like a mini game to play, you can go into this menu and be like, how many hoppers were searched? How many interactions did a player have with an anvil or grindstone or loom or stone cutter? I did jump 74 times here. So now I know that there is something tracking my stats. So let's figure out what that is. So we'll go here to the Minecraft wiki. We're going to go Scoreboard. Open that. And if we scroll down, we can see criteria, dummy, trigger, player count, total kill count, XP, level, food, air, armor. I'm going to search this page for jump. And I see one here, but where is it? Let's scroll down again. Maybe it's in somewhere else. C command reference. Scoreboard objectives add. See above section for more of these arguments. A score holder in Java edition. There's some criteria. Do I get criteria in here? No, that's just Java edition. So we're looking for some things. All statistics can be used. Here we go. So jump. Minecraft jump. Is that really what it is? I'm going to be cranky if it is. Objectives, add, jump. Minecraft jump. Minecraft mines? I still can't find it. Minecraft mines, Minecraft dropped, stat. All right, let's just look it up. Statistic, Minecraft jump, scoreboard. There we go. Stat. No? Minecraft stat? Where is it? This is very old. Let's look on a new one.
What is it called? Hop now.
It better not be called hop. I would be mad about that.
Yeah.
7 years ago. Tracking jump Minecraft commands. Then we'll use settings. Oh, wait. Gaming Stack Exchange had this.
That's interesting. A lot of people imagine that software developers, they know everything, like every command that they're using. And
no, it's so hard.
It's like 70% of your time.
You
just need to know that something exists. You can find it. How is it going to be used?
It keeps saying this, but I don't see that. There is
a suggestion. Minecraft custom, Minecraft something.
Is it Minecraft custom? Yeah, there it is. Minecraft jump. Thank you, person in the chat.
Thank you, Suso.
I would have Suso's a good person. Thank you. I would have broken my heart trying to figure out what that was. I never used that at all. So we'll add it in here, right? Because we're also gonna remove it right before. So every time we reload the map, we clear the scores. That's what we're doing. That's why we're doing this. Sometimes maybe we don't want to clear a score, and then we wouldn't add this here. But the way that I'm setting up this framework is so that we have a fresh, constant loop every time that we can control and granularly manipulate. So we're always sure that the thing is functioning as it's supposed to function. Okay. So we have to do some logic, right? I wanted you to do some bootstrap coding here, but this seems a bit difficult.
Right? Yeah.
It would be way cooler if we could get you into the game and do that. But we can talk through this logic, right?
But I'm already learning a lot. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's really
so
you want to track jumps, right? That's going to be the goal.
We should figure out what we're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
So now we start thinking about the level. We're going to put aside all of our code for a second, and we're only going to focus on the world. And we're going to think about, okay, how do I make an interesting jump level? So first, let's make a box. We can just make a box, right? We'll make it 8 high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the part of Minecraft map making that is destructive in nature. We're going to make an edit to the world that we can't undo. If we were using third-party mods or tools or whatever, we could totally undo it. It's not a problem. It's not a concern for many people. But for our issue, we just want to do it with the client, right? We don't want to download mods. So what I'm going to do is look at this top corner block, and I'm going to say that's my other corner down there. So I'm going to do /fill, and then as soon as I hit spacebar, a coordinate comes up, and I'm going to hit tab to complete it. And then I'm just going to press enter. Now I have this incomplete command in my buffer, so to speak, my chat buffer. And I'll come over to this side and say, enter those ones, right? And we like, what's your favorite block?
Dirt.
All right, dirt.
Yeah.
And we're going to just try the outline first.
Whoa, okay.
You made an outline.
That was surprising. I thought it's going to be filled.
I thought it would be hollow. I thought hollow would do what I needed it to do, but outline didn't make an outline like I thought it would. I guess it did make an outline, didn't it? But it functions just like hollow. Oh, yeah. I know.
What did you expect? What was going to be an outline?
Like I expected it like a wireframe, but I know why these two are different, right? If we think about it, one is hollow, so create a box and make the insides hollow. And one is outline that says, take these two things and only place the blocks on the outline. Don't do anything with the inside. So if we do hollow, those blocks inside disappear. If we do outline, just do glass. Things stay. Now we know how this works. Cool. Let's do dirt hollow. Then
actually, let's keep it glass hollow. Looks very futuristic and cool.
All right, let's do it. If we're going to do it, let's do it cool then. We'll do brown stains. Oh, we did?
We don't have this block?
No.
Oh, we have it. Okay.
Filled it. The whole thing. So I need to add the hollow modifier. Make it hollow now. There you go. That's kind of like dirt, but not really. So we have to do a few things. We have to choose a starting area. Let's just say it's this.
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna, that's good. And you'll respawn here. And are we facing south? No, we're facing north. So this is actually bad.
Why? What's the problem?
I'll show you. If I set my spawn point here, right?
And
I kill myself. And I respawn, I'm facing the glass. Not facing where the level is going to be. So
but you could also rotate the player, which is just an additional action, so we better just build everything. So
exactly. You got there right away. So let's actually build it. So we have to adhere to some Minecraft rules, and you're going to be happier if you do that. You're going to be like, oh yeah, this is where the player spawn point should be. So let's hold on to these coordinates. Let's put them in our register the player, right? Spawn point at all, tag not registered, and put in the coordinates. So we know if we run this, tag at all, it's going to set me to the spawn point in region 00 in Minecraft Overworld for me. And that is all I needed. So now I know every time I'm not registered, tag add s remove registered, I'm going to be properly processed. And now whenever I die, my spawn point is going to be where I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we want to get to the other side. That's all we want, right? That's all we want in life. Just to get from one side of the map to the other side. So we should just build our level, right?
Yeah, and what do we want? If we reach the finish block, which I assume that you just built there, right? That platform is the finish on this map.
Let's make this Crimson Nilium the finish block.
Yeah.
So we already determined it earlier, right? If we do an execute if block -1 equals brown stained glass, that test will pass. So we can assume we can do this with every single block, right?
Yeah, I thought you're gonna check the exact coordinates, but this is actually smarter. You can define some block as the finish block. If you touch it, you won. That's cool.
And what does that really do if you think about it? It means that the person, you can be a programmer and do your programming bit and design something that you then give to the player. All right, you can build your own level. And you know, that looks pretty good. Pretty bad level, to be honest. But we're not here for that. We're here for this.
Yeah, you can also design a game where the first player actually needs to put the tag, the finish tag, and then the second player needs to reach it. And that's kind of competition thing there.
Yeah, and the way I like to do that is like they could find a place and then press shift. Do it like that. I think I like that idea that you had. So instead, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a really kind of basic trial 2 level. We're going to just kind of spam blocks around. Like, okay, great. Now, here's why I wanted to track jumping.
So it's like golf. The least amount of jumps wins, or what?
Exactly. But solve this in this jump, I think, is more interesting. So if one player is going to go out and say, up here, go down here, 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 and here, and here, and then press shift, and that's my ending spot. And then when you press shift, you're done, right? And then you have to get to that block in exactly this many jumps. But now, perhaps, what if we do this? We jump, we track that jump, right? And then next time we hit the ground, we change the color of this block. So if you jump on this block, this will like turn to dirt or something next time you leave it.
Or we can make it something non-jumpable, like it becomes a web, for example. Or
so as soon as you jump, that block that was under you should turn to whatever.
Yeah,
that's the game, right? Like we can figure this out. Let's start basic. We need to be able to press shift. So if we look at our objective types, Scoreboard objectives, add, sneak. We have a sneak time, so it's Minecraft custom stat Minecraft sneak. Yes, sneak time.
Okay, sneak time. What does it mean? I was going to ask if you can have like triggers, so you track if something happened, or you need to track the amount of jumps. So, for example, if it was 20 before, now it's 21. It means that you just jumped. How do?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Because every time you press the space bar, you jump. And
that I mean, is this how you do it? Or you can bind some command if you jump, so you don't have to track the amount of jumps.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's say you can do a scoreboard player's operation, num of jumps, game variable. Because remember, we set up that game variable scoreboard. Maybe you don't remember, but we did it right here.
Yeah.
Now we can make that equal to all tag finished, and then jump. would be the thing. So now we've transferred this variable. Let's look to see if it worked. Scoreboard objective, set display, sidebar, jump. Game variable. There we go. We don't have a jump sidebar, do we? We have a sneak one. Okay, we can use the sneak. Scoreboard. Then we do this operation. We do sneak. We'll do tag at all. So if I've snuck for a while, my sneaking is now ticking up. Every second I hold sneak, that ticks up.
But we want to check the individual sneaks, if you can call it this way.
Well, if sneak equals 1 or greater, right? We could do that.
Okay,
Execute if at all, tag this. We'll do run, so this always works. Scores sneak equals 1 or greater. Do this. Did I do it right? Execute if entity. Yeah. If entity at all equals score 1, then do this with sneak. Why is this 2? And then we do say hi, scoreboard players set sneak 0. At all sneak 0. Now we have like a thing, don't we? Every time we hold sneak for a little bit, then we do that.
Yeah.
But I don't really like how it spams, huh? So we need to limit that. Let's do a limiter. Let's do tag. Let's make our lives a little easier too, right? Let's do, instead of if, we'll do it as that entity. And we can do at s for everything afterwards. And we don't need to actually do the entity part of it now. So execute as this thing, run the scoreboard player, then tag add s, add sneaking. So then we can do tag if the tag is not sneaking, then we can add sneaking. And then that's it. Yeah. And if score equals 1, that should probably work.
Let's see.
Tag at s scores sneak. Let's do this at 2 plus.
Why?
And then we'll remove 1, maybe 1. All right, let's work out how we're going to do this, because we're doing a handoff, right? A handoff limiter. So we're saying if a player is not sneaking, we're going to add the sneaking tag to them. Now, if their sneak score is greater than 1, and they aren't sneaking, okay, we can just do it here, can't we? Part of this is figuring out the run conditions. So if sneak 1 equals this, then they are sneaking, right? And then we have to find a way to figure out when they stop sneaking. So if we have to like set it to 0 almost every single time. Do you get what I'm getting at?
Yeah. It's sort of like the register thing that you were doing before the game.
Yeah, exactly. But now we're using something that can always tick up while the player is holding.
So the problem is that the only way to check if we're sneaking or not is that if the number is growing or not.
Okay. Actually, good question. At s, data get entity, at s. You think sneaking's here?
Oh my god. Sneaking.
Let's make our lives easier, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my god, see how much it grown? just being on the server a little bit. Sneaking, shifting, crouch. Oh, that ain't the way. Now I know there's a few command block experts in the chat that are just laughing right now, you know, because this is the real work of it. I think we have to figure out, okay, we've passed off the variable. Now, if the player is sneaking, I'm going to set it to 0 right afterwards. If their tag is sneaking. So execute at all. Tag sneaking. Like that. I want this to be more like this. We can do it in 2 stages because there's 0, 1, and 2. So we can treat 1 like you're always sneaking, and then if it goes up to 2, or if it ever goes back down to 0, yeah, we'll just do it like this. So remove, add us, sneak 1. Now, if a player has a score of sneaking that equals 0 and they are sneaking, then they should probably get their tag removed, right? So logically, execute as if I am sneaking, I have a 1 or greater score, and I don't have a tag, give the sneaking tag. Now, as a player who is sneaking, remove sneak all the time, not just when I have a greater score. That is 1 or greater. Yeah, that's right. We don't even have to make this an execute. We just add it like this. Because the selector works the same. 1 is running from the player, 1 is running from the server. You can even do it like this.
Can you specify the exact value what the sneaking time should be? Like sneaking should become 2 or not?
No, we could, but I think it's a custom stat scoreboard, so you could probably reset it, but we don't really want to do that logic, do we? We want to add a quick limiter, and then we want to take away the sneaking tag when we're not sneaking. So we're always going to remove sneak 1.
Remove 1. If it's 2, then we remove 1. So we always oscillate between 1 and 2, 1 and 2 while we're sneaking, and when we're stop sneaking, remove the shift. It will just get back to 0, and then we know that we're not sneaking. We should remove the tag. Right?
Exactly. So we'll do this as well. Okay. Sneaking. All right, well, we know that is doing it, at least. So if tag equals 1, I guess sneaking, let's try that. Try it down here. Reload, right?
Yep.
We're still sneaking.
We're still spamming sneaking.
We're still spamming sneaking, which is like driving me crazy because I've done this like logic a bunch of times in my head, but I've always like kind of get stuck on what we're doing. So as all, we're going to add the sneaking tag, and then when it equals 0, we'll just take it away. So if a player is detected of having sneaking, then that's fine. We don't need to do anything else with them. We just say that they're sneaking, and then that's it. They don't need to like continue sneaking. We're going to act upon them. Their state is going to change right away, and then we don't care if they're sneaking.
And also, if we want to check if they snuck, once, then that's it. The game is over. If they snuck on the right block.
If they snuck on the right block, then we're totally fine. So then we don't even need all of this. We can just make it simple, you know? Like, we're making a simple game here. I always have these things of overscoping because I think my maps are so complex. Found the block. And then let's TP the player back to the start. Execute if, not as. Execute as if block -1 was Minecraft Crimson Nelium, Say found the block. Then TP add us back here. And then or sneak one. Yeah, we can just run scoreboard player set sneak at all sneak 0.
All right.
We've done it, right?
Why
is
is
this
it
crimson? Let's find out what we're looking at first. Crimson Nylium. Scoreboard objective set display sidebar. We wanted to look at sneak. So it should work that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Execute at all. At the sneak.
Yep.
Say found the block.
Seems to be working. Did you see it? It was setting it to 1.
Yeah, it's setting it to 1, but why isn't it doing the second part? This is Crimson Nylium. Execute as all who is sneaking. If the block below you equals Crimson Nylium, say hi. Wait, does this work? Okay, so it does work. As, let's just do an @s just in case. So I'm going to run as the player, but I'm going to run the command at myself. I shouldn't have to, but for sometimes, yeah, see?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Let's add a little 0, 0 on that too, so we feel good when we respawn. So this works now. So I don't know why it works like this. Like this. As this player, I guess it is right. You know what? I know why. Because the server doesn't have a position in the world. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're going to execute this command as this player, but the position is still separate. We need to also define that the @s at this player's position.
If we check the logs, will we see that the command couldn't be executed because there is no coordinates?
We wouldn't be able to check the logs for that.
Okay.
This is all the logs we have.
Yeah, that's sad. Okay.
We could do like a game rule, send command feedback true, and then command block true. And we should be able to see some of the commands if the commands are running in the game, but they're not. They're running over here. Well, so we have to do these little bit of bug fixing, right? Like, well, at least we did it. I think that's the point. We've done the thing, and we can move on.
Yeah.
So, got to the block. So we've built one core of our system. We know that if we get here, we got to the block, which means if we get here, we're going to get back to the start of the game. So the next component is figuring out the jumps. Let's make we need to make some plans. And I think this is the good thing about being in Minecraft a little bit. Make the plans here. So track number of jumps, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make a finish location.
Mm-hmm.
When player wants to set a block, press shift to set it. Determine if player is in setting or playing state. And reset player who sets and reset player who plays. Suddenly, we have a lot of functions we need to do. We should probably simplify, huh?
Yeah.
For the sake of the stream. You know what? I don't care about this anymore. I don't care about that. We still need to reset the player.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the game. Because we're on a time budget. We don't want to go over wild, right? Like,
Yeah.
So we want to design a level that says, how many jumps do I have? Scoreboard, objectives, set display sidebar, jump. So I already have 11 jumps. So we need some way
To reset the jumps.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to be really hacky.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put a little command block here. We're going to put a button. Scoreboard player set at all jump 0.
Mm.
Boom.
Boom.
Now my jump is 0. So now if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we know it's going to take 7 jumps to get to that. And if I do anything more than 7, it's going to be hurtful, right? Can we do 7 from here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, we did it. 7's good par then. 7 seems good.
Mm.
Okay. So we need to track if a player has jumped too much. So execute if at all scores jump equals 1, jump equals 7 or more, right? We want to reset the player.
Exactly, yeah. Send them back to the start.
Yeah.
And maybe say something in the console, like you failed.
Yeah, I like that. So execute if score at all players equals this. Oh, no, entity. If entity run this, let me say, you jumped too much.
Yeah.
And then you get teleported back. And then we also have to do the thing. Scoreboard players set at all jump 0.
Mm-hmm. That should be it. Yeah.
But now we also want to just, as a race condition, move that up there, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Say, you won. We have the game, right?
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What?
Interesting.
It didn't teleport you back, but it says you jumped too much.
Say I jumped too much. So what did we do wrong? Too much. Oh, I see.
What is it?
Teleport the server back to the start.
Oh. Mm.
To teleport at all. Yes. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You jump too much, and then it resets. So you also want to do one more thing. Execute if. So execute as. You need to get this. There we go. Execute as all. At all. At s. Okay, at s. If block s1 equals Minecraft brown stained glass. Teleport, run, teleport back. And then delete this, duplicate. We want to scoreboard players at all jump 0. So now if they fall on the glass, they should get teleported back, right?
Uh-huh. That's cool.
I think that's 0.5, I think, right? Because it feels way too like you don't. There needs to be a fall mechanic to it.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. You see like a little bit more. Actually, 0.1. It's really laid in. Yeah, there we go. See how that like just slightly works? We're executing from like the player's foot. Like if this is a bounding box, and then it's just slightly one down, of course you're going to get teleported away. So that we changed it to a 0.1, so it feels a little more granular. And that's what sets like that kind of attention to detail sets the generic maps apart from the really good maps. So set jump 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We didn't get a. Oh, we did crouch right on the thing, but we didn't get the message. Oh,
yeah,
didn't get the message. Let's just do it like that. Oh, you see that right there? That @s is so important to figuring out whether or not your stuff
all
is
those tiny
good.
details. Okay.
There, got to the block. You won. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Bow.
And that's how we do it. We just do it
Awesome.
like that, but like a lot more and often.
Yeah, I can imagine. Matthew, I have one idea. Can you please create a repo with the code that you just wrote?
Sure.
And I think our viewers can use it as a base for their games. And I would really like to try to make it a turn-based game when the first player plants the block and another one needs to reach it with the same or smaller amount of jumps.
Okay. All right. I'm going to need to figure out how to create a new repository. All right. I will do that.
You can just send me. You can just send me the zip. I can create.
I'll send you the zip. We'll do it like that. That'll be easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. I love this.
Yeah,
stuff.
thank you.
This is a very fun. Like this is one of my very favorite things to do. And if you do it like the way that we were talking about it today, you can do the programming part, and then later on you can really get into the design part. So and then you can be in the same server and the same coding documents and all of these kind of wild and amazing bits where you can have 5 people doing something at the same time and creating everything together. I love that.
It's really cool, very inspiring. You're kind of in the sandbox and you can control this environment.
Yeah.
This is so nice. You get inspiration while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So cool.
And we did, didn't we? Like we started feature creeping so quickly, and then and thank God we stopped for a moment to look at what we were doing.
Yeah, you need to budget.
I can see it takes a lot of time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, thank you so much, Matthew. This is where we end the stream. Thank you, everyone who was watching this. Hope you've learned a lot, like I did. I now have a good grasp of what is going on when you're developing Minecraft maps. That's really awesome.
Good.
All right. See you, everyone. Bye-bye.